Hello and welcome to another exciting Cooking with Unity. I'm your host, Max Moreau. With me is Jeffrey Hawthorne, and Phil is out today, unfortunately, so no banter and no one monitoring the chats. So, well, we'll monitor it occasionally, but it's not going to be as up to the minute as it usually is.
We'll monitor it at 9:25.
Yeah, right at the end.
And we're like, oh, the chat.
Yeah. That's how all of my Breakfast with Unity episodes end. I'd never look at the chat, and then at the very end, I'm like, hey, chat.
Did you switch to the screen?
That's a good question. I did not. Wow. Thank you for saying something. All right. So for all those times that it was a false positive, it was worth it. I want you to keep saying it. So, or false, or yeah. You know what I mean.
That time I was actually kind of paying attention.
Yeah,
so,
and you actually saw it? Oh, nice. Even better.
Switching, so.
Even better. So you knew.
But
you knew it was wrong.
I was second-guessing myself enough to where I didn't want to say, you didn't switch to the screen, go back!
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So on our last episode, we didn't actually do a lot of differences in implementation. We just worked on our documentation. And so we've got all this documentation for how we're going to kind of do skill stuff, just kind of a skeleton of things. We did start looking at implementing the damage calculation, and we created this calculate and apply damage on trigger enter, which is actually not what we're going to be doing. This is not going to be too good, because the thing is, we might have multiple skills, and like this is going to go on. This is an example for a projectile skill. And this is going to go on those projectiles. So if you, like, say, cast, again, we're not going to have these things in this game because it's going to be cybernetic stuff and cyberspace stuff. But say we had an ice ball and a fireball, and we fired both of them at the same time. We couldn't just get the calculations for either of them just magically. They have to come from that particular skill. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to actually fill in the information on our pre-existing damage on trigger enter here based on the skill when we spawn the projectile. So we're going to change the way we handle that, and we're going to start stubbing in stuff for skills and for equipment to satisfy our damage calculation for now. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this script because we're not using it for anything. At least I hope we're not. Let's find out. Does that break anything? I don't think it does. Yeah, everything's still good. All right, so what we're going to do is, well, that's not a thing anymore. Why does it think it is? Okay, whatever. So let's look at how we're spawning these things right now. I think we're using very, very basic code for this. So if we go to the player and we have shoot on axis input, here it is. So yeah, it's very, very basic right now. So right now, we have a bullet involved with this. We're going to actually want this to be based on our skill. We're doing this as a dual stick shooter, so I guess you might only have one active skill at a time. We might have to rethink that a bit too. So let's think about this. So we want to be able to have more than one skill on the field, and possibly more than one aimed skill on the field.
What controller are we using?
I'd like to pretend that we're using a DualShock 4 or a keyboard. DualShock 4 or Xbox controller for that matter, really. Just anything that has two sticks and a handful of buttons and shoulders and stuff. So we could do, that'll be fine. What we'll do is we're going to tentatively make the control scheme be you aim and shoot with the right stick, but you can adjust what you're shooting with the four shoulders or something. Like each one of those is a skill, and then you just press in a direction and then you press the skill. Or maybe even have it where if you press the skill and, I don't know, something along those lines. We'll work within that for right now. Then we'll feel it out as we go on. So what I'm going to do is...
Gave me an idea for an item mod.
Oh, What's your idea? Let's hear it.
Whatever button you're holding down is what skill you're using.
Yeah.
But then an item mod that allows you to use multiple skills at the same time. But that would have to be like one of the only mods on the item.
Yeah, that would be cool. So it's just like you can hold down more than one button or something like that, or
yeah, like you hold down both triggers and you're casting lightning and ice at the same time or something.
That would be cool. I'm gonna go ahead and just note it in notes. Notes. Notes and thoughts. Have a weapon modifier that allows you to simultaneously cast multiple skills at the same time. Simultaneously cast multiple skills. No need to add more to that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the sheet on access input for right now. Though we're going to modify it. And we will eventually be replacing this with something that deals with the buttons too. For right now, I don't want to deal with cording things on the keyboard while we're doing the development. And later I'll bring in a controller to make that stuff a little bit less painful, although we'll want to see how it plays on keyboard too, just in case. There's people that play on a keyboard, it happens. So, I'm sure that the master gaming race out there is just wanting to punch me through the screen right now by saying something like that, but oh well. So show on access input. No, I'm going to make it a different script. No, I'm going to make it this one. We're just going to change it so that it doesn't use a bullet anymore. So, or it uses a bullet and we have to fill the bullet with information. Yeah. Let's do that for right now. So we're going to need some sort of information to send with the projectiles, or no, for skills. Let's worry about just the skill information. So I'm going to make something called a player skill, is what I'm going to call it. And, I guess it could just be a skill, right? We'll start with that. Maybe that'll encourage us to actually properly create subclasses when necessary, if we pretend that we're going to be as generic as possible. So, what we need for here. So this is going to be very basic, very, very, very basic compared to what it will finally be. But one of the things we're going to need is so we had said that skills would have a damage bonus applied to them. So we're also going to have some sort of weapon. So we're going to do a skill and a weapon kind of stub today. So this contains... So equipment damage is the range. Skills have a percentage modifier. So let's do public float damage percentage equals 1.0 F. So this will just be... Yeah, this is going to be really, really basic. That might be all we actually have in here for right now. So we put that skill in there. Yeah, we're not going to worry about AoE. So how do we want to actually do what we spawn or what action we take? Because obviously some of the skills will instantiate different things or do like ray casts or something. So we're not always going to be creating a bullet.
I think that will be in the child of the skill. So the skill will have the virtual...
Oh, are we already doing that? Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Virtual cast, and then the child of the skill will have like its raycast or its spawn game object or whatever stuff.
Public virtual void cast. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that'll work. Alright, so we're going to create a subclass of this. So I'm just going to create a new script. We're going to call this, I'm going to call it projectile skill.
We should probably put these scripts in a separate folder.
Yeah,
So
that's
they're
probably a
easier
good
to keep
idea.
track of.
Let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to save this, put these into their own folder. We're going to call this scripts, create folder, skills, skill, and projectile skill. It had an error for a moment there. I was like, well, I don't know where that file went. And then, oh, it's gone. Okay, it's back. All right, so, and now I have to open them both again.
So it was trying to compile in the middle of moving the script?
Yeah, or something. I mean, I just saw red go up. I think it's on the video, so I have no idea what it was. It was just like, I don't understand what's going on. And then it's like, oh, okay, everything's fine.
You've got a file missing. Oh wait, I have that.
Yeah, exactly. So
my bad. Never mind.
So we need it to be public so that it can be called there, and I don't think do we have to even do that?
So that needs to inherit from skill.
Yes, you're right. Projectile skill is a skill, and public void, public override void cast. All right. So right now, sweet. So we can just assume that the transfer dot rotation is in the right position here. Excellent. This is good. This is real good. Alright, so what we will do now is we're not going to have the game object bullet on here. We're going to have that on our projectile skill. So public game object, and I'm going to call it projectile. And we're going to pull, so can shoot is probably more based on the skill than based on anything else. We've got a shoot delay here, but that's not actually what we want. We want our attack delays to be based on...
Well, the skill will have its own cooldown, and
yeah,
or mana cost, or however we're going to do that. We didn't
or
even
repeat
talk about
rates.
that.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to possibly have to check the owner of the skill to see if they're frozen or slowed, or if something's going on with them.
Yes. Yes, indeed. There's going to be a lot of interesting little intricacies in this. All right, so let's power through for right now, though. So projectile skill, projectile. So we're going to basically be doing this in here, and
Instantiate bullet, projectile.
all right, so what I'm going to propose for right now, in preparation for some of the nastiness that's going to be coming up, is a public... Why do I have this descriptor here? That's really bad. Public virtual void can cast. So we're going to have the skill require to figure out whether or not it's castable at the time. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go do public skill current skill. This is just gonna be the hack for right now. Save, and so what we're gonna do is if current skill dot can cast. Actually, I kind of want to make that a... No, it should be a function. I don't know if we can make overrideable properties.
So it's a bool, right?
Yeah, good point. Bool can cast. Save. And so if can cast, then we're doing that in the other thing. We don't have to do any of these things. We just need to do current skill.cast.
Should we just put that in the skill itself?
What do you mean?
Have current skill, or call current skill.cast and have current skill check if it can cast?
Oh, yeah, I guess we could do that. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. So, like, this can cast, or if can cast. Well, then maybe we shouldn't have this as part of the... Wait, we can't do that here anyway. Maybe we should just have the check be on a per... Because maybe some skill... Well, all skills are probably going to have some sort of cooldown. Yeah, let's just do this for right now. We'll just have it be cast, and then any checking has to be done by the skill. Yeah, alright. So, public float, what is it called? Cooldown. Attack speed, is that something we want to have separate? Let's just make it so they have cooldowns. Let's not make it so there's attack speed modifiers. I don't know. Hadn't really thought about that one. I'm going to put that in the maybe section. Attack speed modifiers. Save. All right. So what are we going to do? So we essentially the projectile if
You didn't finish the cooldown.
yeah, cooldown is it's defaulted to 0.1 F. And how fast are we casting right now, actually? Just out of curiosity. Player...
It said 0.1, or did we change it here?
0.1. Okay, cool. So, 0.1, we'll just put this in here. And if can shoot... Because I could have probably copied and pasted this stuff from the other thing, as opposed to deleting it like I did before. Here, I'll get it back using the cheat method. We have version control. We can do anything. This is the wrong version control. I mean, it's the right version control, but it's the wrong repository. There we go. So if we go to projectile skill dot, or wait, no, shoot on access input. There it is. We'll just grab all these things. And we'll grab this thing as well. Whoops. And might as well grab this too. All right. All right, so we've done a little bit of reorganization here. So we have a damage percentage. Let's go ahead and stub a weapon as well, and we're gonna do this. Diablo 3 style. So our skills are going to be directly influenced by our weapons, and pretty much dictated the base damage by the weapons, and then everything else will be modifiers on top of that.
I kind of like the way that was done.
I do too. It streamlines things a little bit, and it never makes you feel like... The only thing that was weird about it is I sometimes miss thwacking things just with a sword. And you can do it. You can unassign a skill, but like you feel like you've just kind of gimped yourself when you do it because you don't get any of the bonuses, and like every skill is better than just thwacking. So, skill does not contain attack specific for can cast. And no can cast. Did I not save this?
Well, that was always the case in the other games too. Early on, you might just use the regular attack, that the melee classes always ended up switching to.
That's
skill
true.
For their
That's
base
true.
Attack.
That's true.
We're
Wait,
about
cool
a third
down.
of the way in. We should check the comments.
Good idea. Put cool down there. Save all, and let's check the comments. Hopefully we're not on fire or anything. Woo, early, yes, soon. Make a shop system. No. Okay, maybe. We'll consider it. Oh, why did I close that? GitHub. Scape documentation notes. Stores. Dancing store owner. Happy town music.
You log on to Amazon to buy stuff.
I actually like that idea. Well, actually, that would be awesome to hack a store like in the game. Is like you can choose to either pay a person or you can do like a dungeon which represents like hacking into their thing. Hack the store. All right. More dreams. All right. You're on fire. No! We're on fire. Oh, go to video. No, we can't. We're dead. We're already dead.
Then I feel like all of the enemies in the store hack would have to have the weapons that are in the store.
That would be sweet. Oh, that is genius. Oh, that is brutal, actually, because that would actually make it a challenge. It's like, can you beat this weapon? Then you can have it. I like that. I like the idea of going into weapons and stores and stuff, mostly because I played a lot of Distia, and they have all sorts of stupid stuff like that. You can, like, level up everything in that game. It's just amazing. You can also pretty much do nothing and still beat the game, so... Which is why the only reason it held my interest. I'm really bad at turn-based strategy. Anyway, back onto this. So we're close to having a damage calculation here. We're getting closer, at least. So the damage of the projectile... So at some point here, our instantiated projectile has to have the damage information in it. And right now, we have damage on trigger enter, which we're going to wrangle for this. So we're going to go ahead and actually, game object. Do we need it as a game object? Let's actually just pretend it's a damage on trigger enter. Damage on trigger enter. Projectile. This will imply that we need this. And we'll probably change this to a different class later, but for right now this will work perfectly. And now we can instantiate. So instantiate actually allows you to instantiate any object type, anything that comes from mono behavior. The trick is it outputs a untyped version, so you have to make sure that you typecast as a damage on trigger enter. And so we're going to say in damage on trigger enter. What's damage on trigger enter? Projectile equals instantiate as damage on trigger enter, and then projectile dot damage amount equals, and we're going to right now just set it to 1.0f, but this needs to pull from the current equipment information / damage.
We should set it equal to the whatever the damage amount.
Oh yeah,
well,
actually we should put the damage percentage in there at the very least.
Times
damage percentage. Damage percentage.
1.0f would be the inventory damage.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Which would be a range, so it'll actually be a function like item.get range.
Yeah, exactly.
Get weapon, get damage range.
Or it could be a property that also does it like that. I really like properties, but sometimes I don't use them just because I'm so used to the old stuff. But all right, so damage percentage, save. Let's see if we can actually get these guys to die still. So assign local variable projectile. Local variable.
You have projectile and projectile.
Oh, yeah. Instance Save.
And we have to put it on the player or whatever.
Yes. Well, wait, don't we already... Oh, yeah, we have to actually... So we need our skill. So I'm just going to put the skill on the player.
Doesn't the skill go...
Sorry, not the skill. The projectile skill goes on the player, and then we reference the projectile skill...
In current skill.
In current skill. So we drag the player onto itself. The other way we can do it is you can drag this to a slot, but if there's only one type of that type on there, which we will probably have to do this eventually,
because we're gonna have four
multiple skills, or we might just base it on whichever one's exactly.
We need to put the projectile in, or the damage on trigger enter on the projectile in the skill child class that we created that's on the player.
Good point. So we need to actually put our projectile in now. So that's in prefabs, player bullet. Okay, so is player bullet not using damage on... Oh, level scaled damage on trigger enter, so we're not using this one. I'm going to put damage on trigger enter. Whoops. And just to make sure that it's working, I'm going to get rid of the damage amount on this by default, just to make sure that we're actually pulling in the amount from the from this. So now we're going to go to player, and now we should be able to put player bullet in here because it has the damage on trigger. Yay!
So you want to not kill things?
No, I want the test to kill things, because that 0 should be replaced with instance.damage amount equals 1.0 times damage percentage. If things are working right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we hit play. We're shooting and things are still dying. Okay, let me make sure that I didn't do something silly. Are we still... Nope. Shoot on access input is what we changed. That's promising. That looks like we're back where we were, but we're actually in a better position than where we were. So
we're prepared for the future.
Exactly. This is foundation work. Sometimes it feels like you don't make any progress on the days when you're working on foundation work, just because you might be doing the exact same. You might be getting the exact same result, but you'll be doing it in an entirely different way. So that's what we're doing now. Cool. So let's check in what we got so far. This is a good check-in point. Save project. I'm gonna just grab all this junk and basic skill system stubs and basic damage calculation onto weapons. Alright. Finally get to catch one of these live. Yay! Yay for catching things live! But the website shows Thursday as well. Oh, I thought I had fixed that. I will fix that. Thank you for the note on that. Evidently, it only says about Mondays on the YouTube about things, so I need to fix that. At least I think that's what they're talking about. Channel page. Yeah, that sounds like what they're talking about. So, let's go ahead and create a weapon type 2.
Put that in a new folder.
Alright. Create folder weapons. We're not going to have dual wield. I'm going to tell you that right now. Not going to do it. We might not even have hands in this game, so it might not even make sense.
So we should have like triple wielding.
Good point. Quad wield. That was one of my favorite
like
things. Do you remember the mutator?
Maybe.
Do you remember quad jump mutator from Unreal Tournament 2004? Do you remember the description on it? Because double jump is just not enough. I love that they just skip triple entirely. It's just straight to quad.
That's kind of like the, not like it at all, but it reminds me of Battle Block Theater, where you both push the boat in one direction and it just
And
Let's get multiplying it by 2. Let's just multiply it by 10.
yeah. No, that's one of my favorite features in that whole game. Whoever came up with that, I have to pretend that it was a bug, and they were like, "This is genius," and then they kept it. But they might just actually be just great designers and just know that would have been amazing. So weapon. So we're gonna have a damage range. So let's do public float min damage equals let's make it 1.0 F as the default for both min and max. Public float max damage equals 1.0 F. What we will do is we need to have.
Let's make it vary.
By default?
Well, I guess it doesn't matter if we're going to change it in the script right away. I want to put floating text afterwards that shows what we're
let's do that.
I want that to vary.
Yeah, let's do it.
But I guess the min and max defaults don't really matter.
Well, let's make it a big range then, so we can get more variety. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a... Did it let me make a public abstract? Oh, virtual. It's not abstract. Okay, that's right. Because if we had done abstract, we would have had to make the class abstract. So, not that that would have been a bad thing in this case, but although we're treating it like it's let's just, for safety's sake, just in case, base.cast, in case we add that something to cast in the future that always happens, like toggling something or keeping track of stats or things like that. So public virtual void get weapon damage.
We might want to put the cooldown in the base so we don't have to do it on every weapon or every skill we create.
Yeah, that very well might go in there, and that's the reason that setting it up. I'm not going to change it just a second, but which is usually what I say just before I change things again, but I'm not doing that this time. For real, maybe. Weapon damage. All right, so we don't want to actually return anything on this. We want to create a subclass of weapon. So create a new C# script. We're going to call this, what am I going to call this thing? What's a good name for I'm going to call it a basic cyber deck for now. We may not even call them cyber decks. I just figured it's something to start with. So basic cyber deck weapon is a weapon, and we're going to have to override public void over public override, and it's not a void, it's got to return a float. I always do that. Float. Public override float. Weapon damage.
My thoughts took me on a stupid tangent, and I was thinking that the damage could be measured in tries, like TRI, and so the force of the weapon would be the try force.
That's bad, but I like it. Actually, you know what? I just realized that, like, if they all have a min damage and a max damage, we could have this just for right now. Yeah, I'm just going to do it for right now. Return random dot range min damage max damage. Max damage was the name of a character in which game? I think I've already said this on the show before. I'm certain I have, actually. Do you remember the game, though?
I don't think I would remember it if I heard the name.
So, see, no one listens to me. It's okay, though.
Sorry,
Does anyone on the show remember? Max damage was the name of a character in this 90s PC game.
Oh, Postal.
Very good guess. It is something we said on the show once before, but that was Running with Scissors. Made what game? That was that
Oh,
one. So.
right.
I'm just going to leave it floating out there and see if anyone catches it. So, weapon. All right, so I'm just going to put weapon on here. We're probably never going to have the base weapon class on the player in the future, but we'll just do it for right now anyway. So min damage, max damage, and so we will just grab our
Cast. That's it. So down here at damage amount, we want to
okay, so we need to get
the
this
weapon.
somehow.
Get component weapon. And then it doesn't matter if it's a different
Yep,
if
that'll
it's a
work.
child.
That'll work. So and let's go ahead and do that as a if we need it type thing. No, let's just get it. Whatever. Who cares right now? Weapon equals weapon wep equals get component weapon. I'm just gonna say get component in children, just in case we reorganize things. It'll make things a little bit easier for us. And then wep, we will do wep dot weapon damage. Boop boop. Times damage percentage. Save. So now we can get rid of this line because that's what it's doing now. Theoretically, at least. Save. And so let's see if we are killing enemies a lot faster. Yep, most of the enemies are taking... Oh, the enemy took 2 hits. That's good. That means that there's variety. So let's start putting some numbers on things. Let's make that happen. So so right now we're sending a message, which is useful because it means we can create a script that also is keen on that message. So let's just do that. We're going to create a script called spawn damage numbers. Spawn damage number on damage. Yeah. Why not? Alright, so we're going to be using the new UI system theoretically. So we're going to do public system.collections.u. Wait, no. Actually, I want this above there. Unity engine.ui. Save.
That would have been interesting if system
Had Unity engine in it.
UI.
Yeah. So
you import it using system.collections.ui. Hey, wait a second. Unity didn't create this for the new version.
So public text damage text object. Wait, this needs to be on a canvas, doesn't it? So I don't really want to spawn a canvas per object. So we're going to have to get the main canvas somehow. Is there a... Here, I want to see something real quick. Public canvas dot... Sorry. Actually, I don't want it there. I just want, like, canvas dot...
You're looking for like canvas.main or something?
Yeah, I was just hoping there was something like that. There's not. We'll have to basically do that. Yeah, it really is. I just was checking to see if there was something built in. You know, it happens. I'm Beeper. Or Beaker. I thought he was Beeper when I was a kid. Because he beeps. So, damage text object. So we're going to also need the public... Actually, we'll just do private... canvas, main canvas. We're going to go ahead. Do we have any canvas yet? No. We're going to create a UI canvas.
I don't know if we should call it main canvas, because the main canvas would probably be
All
for
right.
actual screen UI elements.
Damage canvas. Well, this will be screen UI elements.
This is going to be in world space.
Well, I was thinking
And the
about
main
actually
one-
making it not world space because we were going to have to attach it to a canvas. Because if we do world space, that means each enemy will have to have their own canvas. Which I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure that would work, but I mean, that would be the point of making it world space, wouldn't it? Because it's attached to like the enemy or something, or not attached to the. I guess I don't see why we would make it world space. We would just convert to world space to screen space and then throw it on the canvas.
Well, let's just do whatever.
Okay, all right. Damage text object, damage canvas, damage canvas equals game object dot find game objects with tag damage canvas dot get component game object with tag dot get component there's the singular versions canvas. So we're gonna make this canvas, we'll call it damage canvas for now. Damage canvas. And we're going to do screen space overlay. We're going to...
Did we actually need to get the canvas component, or were we just getting it so we could child it?
Oh, I guess we don't need the canvas component. You're right. Yeah, good point. So we just get the damage canvas right there and call it good.
Do we need to do as game object? No.
No,
that's
not in this case. That's for
instantiate.
instantiate. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah. So all we do is void damage int amount. Is that what that actually returns? I forgot. Damage amount is a float. Okay, so it's float. Alright. Guess I should have guessed that, because that solves a lot of problems. So float and what we're gonna do is instantiate damage text object transform dot position. It's not actually what we want anyway, but I would like it if it would actually type it in. What we actually want is camera dot main dot screen point world to screen point transform dot position and quaternion dot identity. That's actually probably not safe. It might be. Let's just give it a shot. Actually, let's go with whatever the prefab has. So we'll do damage text object dot transform dot rotation. And then what we will do is text instance equals instantiate as damage text object. No, as text. Alright. There we go, we have an instance. Instance dot text equals amount cast to an int. We're not going to round it up, it's going to round down. Whoops, how did that happen? Did I do that? I must have done that. I must be crazy or drunk or something. So instance.text equals int amount. And then let's... Okay, so we got this. Let's create a example of our damage text. Can I convert int to a string? Oh. To string. Strings just sometimes magically works and sometimes just does not magically work. So there we go. So now we're going to have to create a prefab of a so create UI text. Call this damage number, and I'm just going to prefab it. Delete it from here. We're gonna actually, we forgot to parent this thing, so instance dot parent dot transform dot parent equals damage canvas, and damage canvas actually should be a transform. Oh wait, no, game object. I'm tired. Dot transform dot transform. That's it. Save. All right, so let me just put. Where's our damage number? I just want to see if it shows up there. Okay, it says new text. That's good enough for me. Let's see if this actually shows anything. Now, these aren't going to be great because they're just going to stay wherever they end up spawning, and I didn't attach this script to anything. So, spawn number on damage. So we will put this onto the octo pushies. Actually, we'll put this on both of these. So, add component, damage, spawn damage number on damage. Damage text object is in damage number. And we hit play. And unit exception, damage canvas. Oh, I didn't do this. We need to tag it as damage canvas. Is that what it's called? Yeah. And we actually put it onto the damage canvas.
Wow, that's our first tag.
It is. It is. It's surprising we made it this far. Yay, we're seeing some numbers. They're in the wrong places. I mean, they're in relative locations. They're kind of right. In a way. If they're below me... I don't know what this is. This is fun. I like it. This is a new math game. Let's figure out what all these numbers mean. So obviously this is not working.
Oh, let's check the canvas and see what it looks like, or what it's. Oh, never mind. It automatically sets it to.
To pixel per pixel stuff. So the width and height should be based on what the screen width and height is. That looks right. So if I set this to like, where's my really small ones? Wide GIF. 350 by 120. So that's not exactly the same. So that's interesting. Oh wait, no, 320 by 180. There it is. Yeah, that's right. The position is that's fine. So that's actually right. So it should be in pixel space, which I'm using world to screen point, which I think screen point is pixel space because I think the normalized one is viewport point, right? Transform dot position is the position of the enemy that's getting this message. That seems like that should be right.
I might want to try viewport point. Because I tried screen point one time and it didn't end up doing what I thought it would do. And then I tried viewport point and that one worked exactly as I was hoping.
Is there any additional stuff for these? Wait, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Let's just save that and see what this does. I have a feeling this is also not going to work, but it's going to work in a more different way.
Well, we need to multiply it by the
Oh.
width and height, because the viewport point is 0 to 1.
Okay. So, wait, you did that to work around the screen? That's really weird. So screen space wasn't giving you the right thing? So...
Yeah, I can't remember what
times...
what I was using it for.
Vector 3... World to viewport point. Viewport point is a vector 2, right? Ah, dang it. Gotta check things before. Alright. Returns a vector 3. Alright, so... really should just return a vector 2. But screen point should be working for this. Why wouldn't it work?
Wait, what does screen point return?
It should return the pixel position.
A vector 2?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe. Actually, I imagine it returns a vector 3. A lot of things return vector 3s when they should be vector 2s.
Well, the z is sometimes the distance from the camera.
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
So you might want to make sure it's transformed up position with z is as 0.
Alright. Let's do that.
Often it wouldn't matter because you're just looking at things in the camera again, and it would be in the correct position in the frustum, but in this case it's on the
Alright, so new position, and then we'll do new position dot z equals 0.0f, and then we will just use new position here and see if that does any better. Save. Play. That actually would be very consistent with the type of problem we were seeing, though it still looks like it's a problem.
Shoot them and pause it and see where the text and everything is showing up.
Okay. So I'm going to just shoot once. So first of all, we got 2 things off of him, so that's probably not a good thing.
In the scene view.
In the scene view, we're going to look at our damage number clone.
Oh, it's huge.
Oh, duh. All right. Good call. Yeah. All right. So what we need to do is we need to make this centered. That's the most important thing.
And
just do that,
centered.
And then make the pivot centered. The pivot's already centered. It looks like.
Okay.
But the text needed to be centered, and yeah, and then it doesn't really matter what the size is. Although I'm going to make it a little bit less. What if we have really big numbers? We'll need it. Save selected. All right, let's see how this does now. Yay! Hooray! So let's see if that 3D aspect was actually something we were. Let's
just comment.
Yeah, just comment out that. That'll make it so that we can go back when we find out that it actually is important. But I don't think it will be at this point. So
maybe not. Nope.
Looking good. Looking real good. All right. So, but I am just going to inline this now. Bam.
Oh, you know what? I think it defaults it to 0. And I think that's one problem that people often have, because then they can't see what they're positioning or what they're trying
because
to create
it goes
an array or something,
exactly.
and it's not going in the direction they think it is.
So, so we got the numbers showing up. Let's first make the damage numbers red, because why not? They're damage. And let's make them do something. So I'm just going to create a real quick script here. We're going to call this... Actually, wait. Do we already have move forward? We have a move forward. And we have move on axis. Oh, wait. That's axis input. Okay. So move forward won't work unless we child the object, which we could do. I'm just going to create a new move script real quick. I'm just going to duplicate move forward. It's actually going to be more general than that. Just move in direction. That is actually literally what I was thinking. I also came up with another really, really dumb one, which was like move vector 3 or something. I don't know what it was, but so
I started with that.
Really? That's awesome. All right. Well, great minds think alike. And what's the joke? Sorry.
So do ours.
So do ours. Perfect. All right. Move in direction. Speed. All right. That's all we need. And actually, we don't even need a speed. We're just going to do public vector 3 speed equals vector 3.1.
And probably change the component menu from saying move forward.
Oh, yeah. Let's just get rid of that. Yep, that's been copied from Breakfast with Unity. So transform.forward. Sorry, now it's transform.position plus equals speed times time.delta time. That should be all we need. Save. So we're going to put that onto damage number. We're going to make the direction just in the Y, and we'll make it a little bit slower. Oh, wait, no, this is in screen space, so we might need to make it a little bit faster. Let's make it go.
It as it is and...
Well, it's going to be so slow. All right,
okay,
let's try it. Let's try it. It's going to be so slow. Yeah, they're moving up. Yeah, it's going at 1 pixel per second.
In this case, I think it needs to be a percentage of the screen.
Oh, yeah, because we don't want it to be resolution dependent, which might actually be a better reason to use world space like you were saying in the first place. But if we do world space... No, I guess we could just zero out the... I'm going to leave it for right now. I just want to make these things move a little bit. Let's make them go 20 units per second. So this will be 20 pixels. That's not fast enough. 50. And then let's make them delete themselves after a short amount of time. So do we have that already? Destroy after time? Is that something that we've made yet? No, we have not.
That's usually one of our...
Yeah, it's usually one of the earlier ones, but... destroy after delay. Public float delay equals 1.0f. And then start, we're just going to do destroy game object delay. Don't have to do anything else because destroy actually has a second parameter that you can use to tell it to destroy it later. So yay. So so now we just throw this on our damage number, and we will make it. Let's just leave it. We'll do 0.5. Let's do that. Let's see how that goes. Let's make these numbers a little bit bigger too. They're too small. So let's make them 28. We should also tell people about our adventures in font land soon.
Yeah. Has anyone played Vanguard V?
It's an awesome game, but we had a bug where it was slowing down like right when we'd shoot the enemies.
Our score was
and
bottlenecking
it was
us.
actually the score rendering it was actually re-rendering the whole font every time that the score updated, and so yeah, that was an oops, but we got it fixed. So wait, I did something wrong. Parent of rect transform is being set with parent property. Okay. I guess that was happening before. Why did these stop showing up? Well, they're showing up, but they're going away. That's good, but they shouldn't be going away that fast.
0.5? Maybe they're going away before they're elevating above the enemy.
Yeah, maybe. Let's make it 10 seconds right now.
No, and I don't remember that warning from before. Maybe it was there, but let's...
The warning, I think, was actually
let's
there.
See where
but why are these not visible anymore? Oh, I know what it is. It's because we made them really big, and we have vertical overflow to truncate. So if we set it to... So I think what happened was when we made them bigger, they no longer show up. So if I put this, say, on our canvas, and then we make the height bigger... There it is, new text. That was our problem. Make it 40. So let's apply that. Delete this. Play one more time.
Set it back from 10 to 1 or 0.5.
All right, sounds good. 0.5.
8, 9.
I'm getting some that look like zeros, or maybe it's just because they're all overlapping.
I think it's overlap.
All right, let's make our damage way bigger just to see what happens. So let's.
There was a 1 right at the end there.
Let's just make our weapon have a max damage of something like that. Yeah, now it feels like Diablo.
Kind of does, except we need to make the size and the color based on your damage.
Yeah, we do.
Based on your level.
The other thing we need to do is we need to actually add some sort of outline or something so that when the damage is on top of each other, it's still very readable. Mm-hmm. But this is great. I think we did really good on this episode. I'm going to switch this back to 10.
How does the UI canvas deal with clipping in that case? Does each piece get its own?
So all of these will render above everything else right now. They will not... you mean between each other?
When one is spawned, does it automatically, as an object on the canvas, get like one index higher than the previous one?
No, but we could add something like that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to save scene, save project. Let's check the comments real quick. Gotta tag that. Well called, yep. Carmageddon! Correct! Was Loki OLR from Orange Lounge Radio. Awesome. Yep, we're West Coast. It's easier to watch that to program. Easier to watch that to program and talk. To watch then to program and talk. Yeah, got it. Canvas should be in world coordinates, right? Unlike canvas at screen space, world space canvas can be freely positioned and rotated in the scene. We could do that, but we don't need to do that the way that we set things up right now, though we still might want to do it. The main reason we might want to do it is if we wanted the numbers to be obscured by geometry in the game for some reason, then that would be a case for world coordinates. That's the reason I kind of didn't do it. UI stuff for rect transform, it is a rect transform, but you can still do transform stuff, although evidently it will give you warnings. Thanks for the episode. Thank you. I guess we did that before the talk. We usually do that after the talk, but we can change things. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Hopefully you had a good time. I think we did really well on this episode. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this much work, this much progress on it. I was expecting more to be reorganization. So I think that was really awesome. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, please email me, pushypixels@pushypixels.com. You can also tweet me at Drakfire, that's DRAKFYRE. And please support us, patreon.com/cookingwithunity. Really appreciate it. You guys have a great one, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning for more Breakfast with Unity. And Jeffrey will see you next week on more Scape.
See you next week.
See you tomorrow. All right. I thought that was a good episode.
Yeah, I like having damage numbers.
I do too. I'm a huge fan of damage numbers. Look at all this stuff we made.
Even the enemies like seeing their damage numbers.
Yay.
We need damage over time, so we can just shoot once and then see
just have a whole bunch of them, or have them like pop out and like
threes.
That's the other thing I want to do. I actually kind of want to maybe We should do in World Space. Okay, I just thought of a reason to do them for World Space. It's a really terrible reason, but I gotta do it now. We can make them splash off with rigid bodies and have them bounce off of things.
I was thinking about that earlier. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Just just all over the place.
One thing I think would be pretty cool is if we don't have an effect. Well, I don't know if we'll have an effect like this, but I was just thinking in a normal action RPG, if we lit an enemy on fire and had like fire coming up from them, and then had smoke or sparks or something coming up from the fire, but the smoke were the damage particles.
Oh, that would
mixed
be kind of
in
cool.
with regular
yeah,
smoke particles, so it's just like the numbers are coming out of the smoke.
I like that. I like that, just billowing out. What is the technical term for the damage numbers? Well, I would probably call them the damage numbers, but I don't know. Has anyone released the code base for Diablo so we can find out? It could be like damage UI display, damage. It would definitely have damage in there. I'd always put damage in there. Actually, maybe not, because maybe they have healing numbers too, so they might. But then they might call those healing numbers, and that way, in like a prefab or something. It depends on how someone's organizing it.
Health modifier.
Health modifier, yeah.
Health value modifier.
Damage is fine too. It's just that how do you differentiate between the numbers that appear and the actual damage being done? One is a kind of a visual concept, and one is the informational concept. Send coins flying from the world space to the corner of the UI, but I want the coins to follow a spline. Probably just set up a spline when a coin spawns, and then follow it to the corner. I would say that I would say not to have them actually fly from world space. Like, have them fly from the position, but leave them in screen space. Probably. I guess it depends on what type of game you're making, but yeah. So I would probably just, if you have some spline code, just set up the spline at the time, have the starting point be where you're at, the ending point be the... And you might not even need a spline. You could probably do it with... you could probably do it by wrangling...
Spherical lerp?
Yeah, slurp. You could probably do a slurp, and it would probably look pretty good. So check out...
slurp.
Yeah, slurp.
Vector3.slurp?
Yeah, vector3.slurp. Check that out. That would be...
is there a vector3.slurp?
There is. 3.slurp. And I think the example is actually one of their better examples, believe it or not. They don't explain it very well, but it actually does work. And they do it in a way that actually doesn't do any hackery on the percentage complete. They do the full thing here, so... Unlike some of their like lerp examples where it's just like, yeah, just use lerp here. It's like, that's not linear anymore the way that you did that, but oh well. Alright, anyway. See you guys around. Have a good one. And yeah. See you guys around. Thanks. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Auto motion easing as well. Yes, what Cinecat says, because then if you're using a what he's talking about is if you're using a spline, just making it so that the coin pops out fast and then slows down when it comes to where it's going to, or ease in, ease out, or do whatever looks good. Whatever. Anyway, we're going. Bye.
It's all about what looks good.
It's all about what looks good.